This is the Onshape OpenBoM presentation, and we're going to mainly focus on our usage of how the two products can work together. So we'll do a little bit of an overview, and then we will also actually do the better part is show you the two products and show how they work. Just to make sure we're not having any logistical problems, can everyone raise their hand just to make sure that they can hear us? And I'm going to, sorry, the screen's going to flip over for a second. I'm going to watch what you say just to make sure that you can hear me. And it looks like we're in good shape. So that looks good. All right, so we're going to record this webinar so you can always watch this later, and this will be posted to the YouTube channel or the Onshape YouTube channel, so it's something to pass along if you see anything that's of interest that you know somebody else that might want to see it. And also, you should ask some questions. I always find that the best reason and the best thing to do these sessions like this with you joining live is that you can ask us questions and we can, maybe answer them, but we can always try. But it's always a good thing to do. My name is Joe Dunn. I'm with Onshape. My background is a mechanical engineer, so I'll be representing the mechanical engineer in this story. And my background is coming from SolidWorks. I was there for a very long time, and I'm just really excited to be at Onshape. It really feels like when we first started SolidWorks, it's a very similar feeling, and I would imagine Oleg feels the same way with his company, OpenBoM. And our two companies and products are just really, they represent a new generation of technology, and they complement each other very well. So Oleg, I'll let you introduce yourself. How's that?
Sure. Thank you, Joe, and good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Oleg Shilevitsky, co-founder of OpenBoM, and at OpenBoM we are innovating and creating new cloud-based BOM management tools. And in my past, I've been involved with the different PDM and PLM involvement development. I've been working for a few companies before, and my background is in computers and engineering and manufacturing. You might have a chance to read my blog Beyond PLM as well. And today we will talk about bill of materials and cloud CAD collaboration.
Okay. So what we'll do is we will give a little bit of an overview for both products. I think it's always good to just cover some of the basics for those of you that might not know it. But really, I think we want to get to the demo, and then we want to get to the questions and answers. So, and how to actually, you should all dive in and try both of these products yourselves. We have a couple questions that always help us. Oops, sorry. So I think, Alex, do we have one survey or two surveys? One survey. All right, so there's just one survey. We want to, at least help us get a feel for how you're doing your bill of materials. Since the whole point of this presentation is managing BOMs, it'd be a good idea to find out if and how you do it. So we'll give you just a few more minutes, and I think we can close the poll. All right, so why don't we see the results? So it's pretty typical. It's very heavily Excel, which is no surprise. And when you combine Excel and you don't do it, then I think you're going to really, really, really like what Oleg has to show you, because there is definitely something better. What I want to do maybe is give you a little bit of background about Onshape. And Onshape is brand new. We released our product in December, so we're less than 1 year old, and there's nobody else on the market that's in the same state. And we built a brand new product, brand new technology, brand new platform. It really is, we're fortunate enough to be able to do that, and hopefully all that amounts into something that's going to benefit you, the user, because things like it runs on any device and any platform, and you never install, and you're never on the wrong version, and everyone has access to it. I mean, everyone in the world. I always tell people that Um, everybody is an Onshape user today. They just might not have logged in yet, and that is seriously the way to look at it, because it truly does work that way. Our target and the functionality of Onshape is for professional CAD. We are very much a traditional CAD application in the sense that we do parts assemblies and drawings, and that is the core of our functionality. We are mechanical oriented. Most of the people at Onshape, most of us, in fact the entire team for the most part, wrote SolidWorks, and that kind of gives you an idea of the type of products that we've written in the past, and it also shows you the type of thing we're doing today. And then, but what we've really done is I should say that for the mechanical CAD side of things, just like we did with SolidWorks, is that we are targeting professional high-end CAD. The one thing to realize is that, this is new. This is really easy to use. It's a free product, right? You can use Onshape for free, and you get everything. It's not that we're holding stuff back. We really are, radically changing how anybody runs and accesses professional CAD. There's always been a lot of free products on the market, but you would never consider using any of these for designing a professional product, and now you can. And the other thing that is really, really cool is that, and useful, is that it does run on everything. You find once you try this how hard it is to go back to any product. I don't care what product you use, but when you have to go to, when your product is only runs on one platform and it's installed, and if there's ever, the warning sign is if your software ever asks you to download something, or even if it's in the background, that's a big warning sign, because you're stuck. It means it's stuck on that one computer. We can run on anything. We have one code base, one version, and it's everywhere. And even on tablets and mobile platforms, it works great. But it's probably my favorite, I say this all the time, is my Chromebook, because I could, it's got a keyboard, it's basically a laptop, but you just open up the screen, starts up right away, and you're running a full-blown professional CAD product on that Chromebook. It is really, really fun. Now, the most different thing about our product, besides the platform and the price, but the most fundamental part that's built into this is the fact that from the ground up, we are not a file-based product. You don't have an Onshape file. There is no SLD PRT or SLD ASM or SLD DRT. There's no file, right? We have a system. It's like Google Docs, and all of us can work in the same document at the same time. There is no copies, right? We all have a single source of truth. That's the value here. The point is, team members never worry about accidentally overwriting each other's data. Team members don't have to check it out, right? They don't have to go through a check-out, check-in process. That whole serial process of, people do this in a whole variety of ways, depending on what product you're using today. And you might be using your file system. I've seen these elaborate file systems at engineering companies where they have directory after directory after directory, and they have a way of making they do pack and go in SolidWorks and make a copy of the entire assembly in this directory with a certain name, and they have a spreadsheet that monitors which directories are which revisions, or they do a PDM system that takes forever and is complicated, and all that stuff goes away. You just don't need it, and it just works with Onshape. And there's really nothing to explain, because you just don't need any of those things anymore. And the last thing that I'll say about Onshape is the fact that it is free. Right? We do parts, assemblies, and drawings. We do lofts. We have large assembly design capabilities. We have constantly innovating, and every 3 weeks we have new functionality that comes out, and anyone can use it, and they can use it in an unlimited way. I mean, you basically, if you use public if you want to be a free user, oops, sorry, Oleg, you can use our product free, basically. All the CAD functionality is there. What you pay for is privacy. When you want your documents and your intellectual property and your data, you want the control so that only your team members can see it. By definition, that's what we are calling the professional user. So we have a tool for makers and DIY and hobbyists and schools, and there's all these different scenarios where free is great. And for professionals, you have the same tool with even more capabilities when it comes to all the security and privacy. So with that, Oleg, I think I will turn it over to you, and I'll just hit the slides.
Sure. Thank you, John. OpenBoM is a new tool and new cloud-based product that we started to develop early this year. So just to be perfectly clear, we are a new company and this is a very new product. So what you see is a result of the 6 months development, and we just came with a new version of the product last week. So OpenBoM was the inspiration driven by the fact that everyone can translate any problem in product development and bill of material management in Excel. So you have a problem, you get an Excel. And we've seen these Excels in every place, and you just confirmed this during the survey that, again, Excel is the #1 tool if it comes to the management of the bill of materials. So we wanted to reinvent this Excel thing for the cloud, and at this time everything is going distributed. So people are located in different places. Manufacturing is located in different places. People need to collaborate, and Excel spreadsheet is not a good thing to collaborate. So you always sending this Excel spreadsheet, and we heard many times from people, so where is the last Excel? And the second point is that in addition to simplicity of the Excel, but people like the collaboration and stuff. And what we've been inspired by the collaboration of Google Spreadsheet. And I've seen how Google Spreadsheet can help people to collaborate when you literally can go to the same Google Spreadsheet and see the same. So that was the inspiration behind the OpenBoM. So we said it should be simple as Excel. It should hide all details about data management and bill of material management in the back. People should be able to collaborate, to go to the same bill of materials, open it at the same time, and edit it at the same time, or access it at the same time, and see the same information, which is very helpful. So that's the OpenBoM in a nutshell. As I said, we just started to develop it. So 2 versions behind us, we added new functionality, and I will talk about this new functionality in this presentation and also demo. We also found that the synergy with Onshape, it's very inspirational for us, because the same paradigm of the collaboration, getting access to the same information, simultaneous editing is presented in Onshape as well as OpenBoM. So we are developing scenarios that demonstrating synergy between these 2 products and how they can be used together. Can you go next slide, John?
Yep.
Yeah, so OpenBoM, first of all, is multi-tenant product. So you register in this product online. In our new version, there is a free tier. There is an opportunity to register for free. And you can get the flexible data model that is very similar to spreadsheet, which I will demonstrate. So you can create properties. You can configure bill of materials with any properties, and you can tailor it to your own needs, and it will be your bill of materials. You can also track all changes. And this is an important part, because things are changing, and OpenBoM helps you to preserve history of changes. So you see the full history of the changes in OpenBoM, but also allows you to create revisions. And revisions, it's sort of immutable snapshots that you can preserve, and you can go back. And we have a cool functionality how you can generate change reports between revisions, which I was going to demonstrate. But it allows you to get track of all data that you made. So if you share this information with somebody, and this is another strong point, which is similar to Google Spreadsheet, you can share bill of material with somebody else using email. If you share this, person will have an access, and you will be able to prove, if this is your contract manufacturer or a design contractor, that this is the information that you shared, and this is the revision that was done for this bill of material. So you have all these records, and this is incredibly important when you develop products. What comes in addition in this release is the ability to manage items in inventories. And this is something that we discovered from the communication with users. Is very important because BOMs are good, but you need to reuse items and you need to manage items. And this is what inventories is about. So you can get your items and manage the properties for these items and reuse these items in bill of materials. I will show you how you can do it in the demonstration. Last but not least, you can get data and put it in OpenBoM using different integrations. I will demonstrate integration with Onshape, but we also added integration with the spreadsheet. So you can import spreadsheet with bill of materials, and in the next version, next week, you will be able to bring inventories from the spreadsheet, and it helps you to bring existing data to the OpenBoM. Can you go next slide? Yeah, so the OpenBoM is integrated with Onshape, and we leverage the openness of both products, web APIs, and cloud to make it as seamless as possible. Currently, you can access OpenBoM integration, OpenBoM app on Onshape App Store. So you just need to go to Onshape App Store, find OpenBoM, subscribe to the application, and you will have an instruction how to connect to Onshape user account. And after connecting to user account, you can bring bill of materials. You can generate bill of materials out of Onshape documents with the different configurations of assemblies and information which resides inside of Onshape. And this connection will eliminate the need to copy-paste information from CAD systems, Excel reports, and many others workaround that we've seen a lot within different organizations that managing bill of materials and existing CAD systems with files and complexity of revisions and complexity of versions. What it comes very easy with the integration with Onshape is integration with the data management aspects of Onshape. Data management is allowing you in Onshape to manage versions, and you can get bill of materials from any version of Onshape design. And this is the great thing, because you will always get the right configurations of components and assemblies and parts that you have in the design. Can you go please next? I will talk a little bit about fundamentals of OpenBoM data and relationships. So you will see OpenBoM bill of materials. It's very similar. Look and feel is very similar to Excel spreadsheet. However, what we do, we run data and structured data behind this OpenBoM visible simplicity. You can create different property types like numbers, text. You can create lists with selected list of information. You can create reference, which can be a reference to information located outside of OpenBoM, like for example your McMaster catalog part number can be a reference, and you can navigate directly from OpenBoM to this McMaster catalog part. We can assign part numbers to bill of materials, and by using this we can create multi-level bill of materials. So each bill of material has part number, and by using part number of bill of materials inside of other bill of materials, you can create multi-level hierarchies of bill of materials. And as well, we have structured queries. You can always check where used for a specific part, and you can find different assemblies and different bill of materials. As well, you can always navigate to composed of parts which reside in other bill of materials. So you can go with this navigation. This was the introduction in the last release. We're going to develop further more options around this. But fundamentally, you can create multi-level bill of materials in OpenBoM. Could you please go next? I would like to speak a little bit about change management. Change management is a complex. We are trying to make it simple. So the first simplicity comes from the point that we track all changes and the history of everything. that you do with the bill of materials in OpenBoM. It means that at any moment of time, you can go and you can view the history of all changes. You or somebody else added parts, deleted parts, changed values. You will see history of changes. In a very structural way, you can go and you can see these changes. You can also create revisions. And revision is kind of snapshot. So you come to the particular moment of the development and the bill of materials, you want to say, let's create revision. This is your, for example, revision for this design review that you're doing today. You make this revision and you can always go back and see what was the bill of materials for this revision. Then you continue with your development, you make other changes, you can change the BOM, and then you can create another revision. And for example, you negotiated with your contractor or supplier some sourcing plan where you're going to outsource parts and you are going to outsource some work. So when you do this review with your contractor, you can create another revision. And this revision will represent the bill of materials that you discussed with your contractor, and you can put labels on this bill of materials. Sounds simple, but that's the power of this simplicity. So you can always go back and you can see the history of bill of materials, and you can see the history of changes that were made. But it's not all. In this last release, we came with a new functionality which allows you to do change report. And change report, it's something that probably many of you need to run very often. You have one revision of bill of materials, and you have another revision of bill of materials, and you want to know what's the difference. And these requirements came from our users that are communicating with contract manufacturers, but there are many other use cases where the similar functionality is demanded. So the new function that we have in OpenBoM allows you to request report, and this report will show what was changed from version 1 to version 2, or any sequence of changes and revisions in bill of materials. So you will see a change report that shows that these items were added and these items were removed and those items were changed. And this is the incredible functionality that can eliminate a lot of Excel work by comparing Excels, finding what is different in each Excel in terms of every value, every parameter, every item. So it just helps you to eliminate a lot of painful work that you need to do every day or every week. Can you go please to the next slide? Yes, and the next one I want to focus a little bit and talk about items and inventories. As you design your products, you want to use items. These items just a catalog of things that you create in your companies. And depends on the size of your company, it depends on the complexity of the way you manage. You will probably want to manage items with the parameters and additional information. The new functionality in OpenBoM allows you to manage these item tables, share these item tables with the other people for different purposes, and also organize information using this item table. So you can think about these tables as something that helps you to manage classification of different items. So you can have one table for electronic components, one table for mechanical components, some tables for outsourced work, so you can do it this way. You can also create your item tables as the inventories of items that are located in different offices. And for many small companies that we are working with, many offices means different locations. And in these locations, you have your parts. And sometimes you buy them, sometimes you outsource them, you build them. And it will help you to manage these items and know how many of these items in every location. We will come with more functionality around this space. But for the moment, you will be able to create these tables and manage this information, as well as use these items as a part numbers in your BOMs to simplify selection of part number process, and I will show you how it will work. Could you go please to the next slide? And now we're coming to the cool part, so we're going to do a demo. Now I hope somehow magically to get control and being able to share my screen.
Well, let me start on my end, Oleg.
Oh,
And
sure.
why don't we just cover a little bit of Onshape real quick, and then we'll bump over to you, okay?
Okay, of course.
And I think that, yeah, this is not a Onshape oriented demonstration. We do plenty of those. So I would encourage any of you that don't know Onshape to come see one of our many great webinars, or just try the product. But I do want to make sure everyone knows, most of you probably, I would guess, are Onshape users right now. And one of the things that I think is not it's not always obvious anyway, because when you look at Onshape, you may be using it just like you did SolidWorks, and it's understandable, right? You're creating parts, summaries, and drawings. But I mean, this thing goes way, way, way beyond that. And just as an example, I really think a simple thing. We have an electronic board here, and I can see that there's somebody that's working with me here, because both Oleg and I are actually in the exact same design at the same time. And if he does something, I see it. If I do something, he sees it. And it's simple to do this. If I want to add Oleg to work with me, if he hadn't already worked with me, I would have just added his name. He's already here, so I don't need to do that. But as soon as I hit share, he would just come right into this. That means you got to realize that anyone in the world, guys, that you're working with Onshape and you want to work and you need them to see this document, you hit share and they're in your document too. It's that simple. There are no downloads, installs. We don't care what the computer is. We don't care where they are in the world. So, and you have all this control as well about what kind of things do you want that particular, your coworker or a supplier or someone you're working with, a quote, you're getting a quote, it doesn't matter. You share with certain permissions. And the beauty of it is you can always take them away too by removing it. So you're really, really in control over working with people, and you have a tool that everybody's on the same version, and it's nice. And one last thing is, I'll do this with Oleg, is we can send each other comments, hi, and he'll see that. We can do threaded discussions, or I should say threaded, but we can do comments and discussions between the two of us. And I can do this as well, where if I want to follow Oleg, where maybe he wants to show me something. And so, we're talking on a screen, and if, Oleg, you rotate your screen around or zoom in or something, I will see what he's doing. And it's just yet another tool for 2 or 10 or however many people you want to work together in one tool that happens to be Onshape. So I really just want to reinforce the idea that this is way more than just CAD. I mean, we're professional CAD with all these extra benefits, friends with benefits, I guess you could say. So Oleg, I'll turn this over to you, and I think then we can get into your presentation. You want to do it? Why don't you do it? Easier. I don't know what to do. I'm lost.
Okay, I'm getting show my screen. Okay, now I need
Yep.
we
see it.
Yeah, all right, thank you. Now I need somehow to resize my screen. And now you can see my screen. I hope so. Can you see it?
Yep.
All right. So I will start with the importing of bill of material from Onshape. So as I mentioned, what happens is that OpenBoM is using API to connect and retrieve information from Onshape. So you can see that we can go and see the list of my documents in Onshape. And you can see that this board that we have been collaborating together with Joe is here. So I also can decide which version of the design I can work with. So I can generate bill of materials from a particular version. By default, it comes from the latest version. And what will happen is that we can create one or many bill of materials from Onshape. You see an interesting switch here. You can create single bill of materials, or you can create multiple bills of materials assembly. And this is important in the case that you created multiple assemblies in your Onshape document. You can decide whatever BOM import option you want to use. And there are different purposes for these different BOMs. You might decide to use a single BOM, which will blow through all assemblies that you have in your document, extract all parts, and you will be able to get the full part list of all components in all assemblies that you have in Onshape. But for different purposes, you can decide to create multiple BOMs and do it as well. So let me show the BOM that we created before. So if I go with this bill of materials, you see that we get all components that are in Onshape design. And we can see that this bill of materials is actually shared between me and Joe. And I did it very simple. Like you've seen the possibility to share a design with Onshape. You can also share bill of materials with people using OpenBoM. And in this particular case, we share this between myself and Joe. And I can always decide if I want Joe to edit this bill of materials, or I want Joe to view this bill of materials, view only. And again, depends on the use case and depends on what we want to achieve. And you can see the simple sign on the right, and that indicates that Joe is with me together. And you might think it's like it's a Google spreadsheet, but it's not. And you see that actually I'm doing nothing, and Joe for the moment is placing information, and I can see how he put this information, and it's not a spreadsheet. You're right, Joe, it's not a spreadsheet, it's OpenBoM. And at the same time, I can go and I can see history of all changes. So we can literally see all changes that were done in this bill of materials, and we can also see that revisions were done as well. So we see that there is a, oh, actually we didn't make any revisions. Here I will show it in another place, but we can always save the revision. And at the moment we save the revision, we can say this is our, for example, review A, and we save this revision. And we can go in the list and we can see what was the difference between each revision and go navigate and see bill of materials with each revision. Now let me do something next. I'm going to design two computers and create two configurations of bill of materials for two computers that will use this board. So I will go with OpenBoM and I will create a new bill of materials. I can create new bill of materials from scratch, and I can create new bill of materials using a template, which will bring some predefined properties for the bill of materials. And I did two configurations of bill of materials. One is computer A100 and another is computer A150. So if I go with this bill of materials, we see that this is basically a list of components that is using this board, and I can edit this bill of materials in a very easy way. I, for example, can add package, manual, box. I can add another. For example, I'm planning to sell it with camera, so I can put it's a camera. I can put the part number for this camera. So I can easily add this information to this bill of materials, and it's as easy as Excel spreadsheet. As well history, and I can go and I can see the history of the revision. So I can go back and I can see how bill of materials was with the revision 1 and the revision 2 and the revision 3 and what we have now. So this is the possibility to track all informations in the history of changes. Now in addition to that, I can go and I can run queries. For example, for this particular board component, I can go and I can run various query, and I see that this board is using in two configurations of bill of materials. One is the one that we are looking at now, the computer A100, and another is 150. I can easily go and navigate at this bill of materials from this menu. As well, I can see that if this line in the bill of materials is composed from a separate bill of materials, I can go and navigate to composed of, and guess what? We are coming to the bill of materials with that we generated from Onshape. So what we can learn from this is that OpenBoM can give you an easy way to manipulate the bill of materials with the user experience of spreadsheets. But at the moment of time I do it, I will actually create structural relationships between parts, components, and other elements of the bill of materials. So for example, if I will go now and do this very use case, and this is our model A100, and I will go to A150 because that was the second one, and I will do a simple step. I will delete this line from this bill of materials. So technically now we deleted the board from the configuration of the computer. We might be using a different board in this configuration of the computer. Now if I am coming back to my A100 model and I will run various query, now you see that the various query changed. And now this board is only used in this A100. So basically you've seen we made changes, which was the easy change like you usually do in Excel spreadsheet, but things are changing behind the scene. And this is the hidden data management capabilities of OpenBoM to manage information and to give you, visual simplicity in the way you do bill of materials and manage bill of materials in very similar way to Excel spreadsheet evolutions. Now speaking about inventories, as I mentioned, inventories is the tables that you can create, and we can go and we can see that there are different tables that I created in the OpenBoM, and I just put them in the way I want to create my components that I can use. I can I can import it from other systems, and this is, for example, the components. So these are components that I potentially can use in my bill of materials. And what can happen is that if I want to use it, I can make this part number selection intelligent. So before that, I can simply type part number if I want. And in many situations, especially on the early stages of design, engineers would prefer just to type this information and go very easy with these part numbers without complexity of creation of part numbers and managing them. But what we can do also, we can go and we can set inventories for this particular bill of materials. And if I select this inventory to be used with this bill of materials, then I can go and I can get this access to the list of item numbers in this bill of materials, and I can start typing, and I will be able to come and select a particular part number, and this will be used in this bill of materials. We have a flexibility to allow you free typing, or to allow you to select part number by locking part numbers. And if I do so, and I will try to free type part number, I will not be able to do so because we are restricting now user to use part numbers only from item inventories. Last but not least, let me come with a change report. So as you've seen, we get multiple revisions of bill of materials, and we have a full history of changes. But sometimes to look through these changes, it's a little bit complicated, and you want to create a simple report about differences. So this change report will allow you to go from one version to another version. And we can download change report. For the moment, this is a simple spreadsheet that will come that will come down and actually I think we got some part. Yeah. So we're getting spreadsheet, and I can open the spreadsheet, and I can show that this is the way we create between these two versions. What you've seen, that this is the bill of materials. From revision to this revision, what was the change? What was the date of the change? What was the action? We removed the component, and I removed that component. And who was the user who made the change? So this is the simple report. So you can do these things very easy, and it will be very helpful if you want to communicate changes of bill of materials with somebody else. So this is pretty much my presentation for the moment. I think we can turn it to questions and answers, and please ask whatever you want. I will try, and me and Joe will try to answer on all questions.
Yeah, I've been trying to answer a few of them. Why don't I field a few of them for you, Oleg? So there's one from Ernest, and he's asking, do we do indented bill of materials?
Yes, so we have a multi-level structure, so we keep managing these multiple levels. So what we are developing is the way to explore this in a way different from what I demonstrated. So for the moment, you can go and click on the line in the bill of materials and go with compose of, and you will be going down to the bill of materials. So in one of the next versions, we will come with something that will be able to visualize it. And again, you are helping by saying that you want nested. Some people told me they want some kind of a graph exploration. Some people told me that they want to have a tree. So we're trying to find the right way to come with the presentation of the bill of materials, a multi-level bill of materials.
Let's see. There's another question about, there's a couple questions actually on updates. It's, how does, changes in OpenBoM affect Onshape and in the other direction too? So do you want to talk about updates a little bit?
Sure. That's a great question. It actually follows the way we continue to develop OpenBoM. As you probably noticed on the App Store, OpenBoM is a connected application. So technically what we do, we connect through the API and we import bill of materials, and you go to the separate browser like I demonstrated and work with this bill of materials. So for the moment we are not communicating changes back to Onshape, but we are coming with the new version of the product which will be integrated application inside of Onshape. So what this integrated OpenBoM application will do, first of all, you will access it within Onshape. So the separate tab in Onshape will bring you OpenBoM. You will be able to generate it from workspace, and then when you will make changes, the changes will go back to Onshape, and you will update metadata in properties of the Onshape documents and Onshape assemblies and other parts. So watch our updates for the next month. It will be coming soon. We will engage with some users early in the process.
Yeah, I mean, this thing has changed just a lot since just a few weeks ago. Last time we presented, So I mean, it's developing very fast. And on the lines, there's one more question. Can a BOM be inserted into a Onshape drawing? And that's really more on Onshape. The answer is no right now. But really that's an Onshape limitation. And what will happen is we will have, I can tell you that the answer will be yes in the near future. I can't commit to exactly how soon, but we need to handle BOMs on a drawing in Onshape. And once we handle BOMs on a drawing in Onshape, everything Oleg described will apply, and it will just take advantage of that. So we'll be able to leverage that capability. So it's something we're aware of and something we're working on in Onshape very fast and as fast as we can. Let's see. Of course, now everyone's asking questions, more questions. Is the inventory feature different from the item master?
Good question. Probably not. We've been thinking how to call it. It's items. Some people call it item master. With the smallest companies, we've been working mostly hardware startups. They like to call inventories. So we call it inventory. We might decide to change it. Sometimes item masters, it's too complicated term to understand to some people. We will be innovating and thinking how to call it in the way people will understand.
Okay. One more question. Can you can combine, or can you combine both the imported BOM from Onshape and Excel into a single BOM?
Not yet. For the moment, what we can do, we can import BOM from Excel spreadsheet. It will populate bill of materials on the fly with all properties that you indicated in your spreadsheet. And then you can actually copy paste and bring it to another bill of materials. So this is what you can do for the moment. In the next version that I mentioned about integrated version with Onshape, we will first introduce merge function. This merge function will take BOM, generate BOM from Onshape design and merge it with existing version of bill of materials that at this moment of time you probably added some, you will be adding some non-geometrical items. So this merge functionality will be first introduced, I don't want to commit to date, somewhere next month, and as it will become available for Onshape, it will probably in the next version will become as a general function of the merging between two bill of materials. So we will be coming with this.
Okay, Oleg, I think that's a good time. I mean, it's always good to finish a little bit early. So, unless anybody has any more questions, I think we will wrap it up. I see one more. So let's see. We will ask one more question, and that is there a release function to downstream systems?
For the moment, there is a change report. So this is a kind of release function that can send a change report that can be used to integrate with the ERP system. Actually, this change report was developed as a request for companies that sending change reports to contract manufacturers, and these contract manufacturers demand this change report. We will be adding some export functions that probably can be used as a release function. But when you create, one of the functions of the release, in my view, is to create an immutable snapshot. So when you create revision inside of OpenBoM, you cannot change it. So you can consider it as one of the release functions. Probably we need to wrap it up and call it a little bit differently, but if you create revision, you can put label and you can say this is the release BOM for whatever ABCD reason.
All right, I think we're good, Oleg. So thank you, everybody. We can follow up. I mean, you have both of our contact infos, so please feel free to ask us questions. And if you're not using one of our products, if you're not using OpenBoM, or if you're not using Onshape, do it, and we want you to use it. So that's it.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks, everybody. Have a good, happy Friday.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.